Alright guys, welcome back to Metroid Prime 2. The last time we met Metroid Prime 2, I believe we just returned the light energy back to Torvis and headed back to the Great Temple to report to U-Mos and all that kind of stuff. And and he basically told us, alright, you're not done yet, jackass. You got one more to go, which is in the Sanctuary Fortress, which is what we're headed to now. But yeah, so might as well get this out of the way because obviously I already know about this. If you saw my post, I already know. December 4th. Yep. We are finally getting Metroid Prime 4 on December 4th, oddly. And in all honesty, I can't wait. I mean, I already pre-ordered it, and I already pre-ordered the Samus amiibos. I didn't pre-order the Psylux amiibo, mainly because I know this is going to sound crazy. I don't care for Psylux. I played a little bit of Prime Hunters. I never really liked it, though. And so Psylux is just one of those characters that I just genuinely didn't care about. I know he appears in Prime 3 and is in, he has a cameo in Prime Federation Force, which teases Prime 4. But personally, I've never been a big fan of him. I'm trying to remember how to do the Seeker Missile. There it is. But I have never been a fan of Psylux. Maybe I'll like him once I play through Prime 4, I don't know. But there are a few things about the Prime 4 trailer I do want to talk about, or just Prime 4 in general. And the big one that it seems to be a big contention point that I've noticed is the fact that it seems that it's going to be open world. And that open world is pretty fucking empty. And in all honesty, I am a little worried about that as well. But my thing is I don't think necessarily it's going to be open world. I think it's going to be similar to, say, I think it's going to have, you know, different areas, but like none of them are connected like they are. Like, you know, Metroid Prime, especially, you know, the areas don't feel as connected because of all the elevators and shit. I mean, then again, the areas of Metroid, you know, they were always divided by elevators with the occasional shortcut straight back to that area. Like Zero Mission had a lot of hidden shortcuts to certain areas, and some of them you had to use, and in Fusion you had to use some of the shortcuts if you wanted to avoid being locked into the final section of the game. But Prime never really had any shortcuts to major areas that weren't elevators. In order to get, like, for example, Prime 1, if you wanted to get to the not the Sanctuary Fortress, if you wanted to get to the Temple Ground, or not, god damn it, I'm staring at this game. You know what? I'll use Prime 2 as an example. In Prime 2, if you wanted to get to Torvis Bog, you had to take an elevator to Torvis Bog. You know, you had to do that. Like, there was no ifs, ands, or buts. Whether it was at the Sanctuary Fortress, if it was in Agon Wastes, if it was in the Temple Grounds, at some point, you have to use an elevator to get to that area. And as a result, the areas felt very disconnected, at least to me, in the Prime series. And Prime 3 was the worst with this. Because in Prime 3, for one, you're on different fucking planets, which is fine. But in Prime 3's case, you know, you could only access certain parts of the planet by using your ship. Like, you had to fly to that particular area. So what I think Prime 4 is doing, and I hope it's doing this, is that essentially that desert area that they showed may act like a hub of some sort, where you'll be able to, you know, go to whatever area you want to go to next. Then again, it could also just be its own part of the, you know, world. It could be its own thing. But I will be frank here, it did look pretty fucking empty. Like, it was Sonic Frontiers level bad in terms of that. And even then, I think it was worse than Frontiers in some cases. Because, like, we only got, like, a very small peek at the desert. And, you know, yeah, it is a desert, so you shouldn't really expect a lot to be there, I guess. But Ares Island from Sonic Frontiers had more going on in there. And I'm also thinking of Stellar Blade, where in Stellar Blade, Eve, you know, had to explore, like, what, 3 fucking deserts throughout that game? And all 3 of them, you know, they all looked pretty barren, but there was still stuff to do in them. Prime 4's desert looks just barren. And that could be the point, but I'm also hoping that they're, like, you know, they're not going to be expecting us to find, you know, needles in fucking haystacks in that place, if you catch my drift. But, I do look forward to seeing what kind of abilities Samus will be getting in that. And the suit that Samus gets in Prime 4, I'm intrigued by it. I think it, what was it called? It was like the... I forgot what it was called. I had to look it up. Samus's new suit. You know what? I'll just look up Amiibo, because I'm pretty sure it gives the name. The Viola. I'm assuming that's the name of the motorcycle is the thing. That might be the name of the motorcycle. But I do like the new suit design. I do like the new suit design. Like, I do like the new suit. Like, I like the red, especially. It kind of gives me, like, vibes of, like, the light suit from this game. You know, without the fucking kneecaps. But, like, I like the new suit. I like it. And I like the motorcycle in terms of its design. But at the same time, I am a little worried about... There are a few things that I'm worried about in terms of... what... they're gonna make you do with that motorcycle. But my thing is that, you know, they have been pretty quiet about Metroid Prime 4 in terms of everything. They haven't really revealed much about it, except, you know, the fact that, you know, Samus is getting new abilities in the form of the psychic abilities, which I'm genuinely curious about. I wonder what kind of puzzles we're going to be able to do with that. But it is Retro Studios handling this game, so I am very curious as to what, you know, I have faith that Retro will do it, because, you know, despite me fucking hating, you know, despite me always complaining about this game, I actually do think it's pretty good. I always complain about Prime 2. I always bitch and moan about the beam ammo system. I always bitch and moan about how dark it is and how much I don't like how the bosses and stuff like that. But besides that, I do think that Prime 2 is a really good game. It's just one of those games that I don't come back to as often, you know, because it's just one of the... It takes a lot out of me to even think about playing Prime 2, is the problem. You know, not... Again, I know that there are people out there who say Prime 2 is their favorite. Again, more power to you guys. It's just personally... You know, I think Prime 1's the better of the Metroid Prime trilogy. And honestly... You know, I know a lot of people say, well, Prime 3 is the worst out of the bunch. I honestly think Prime 3 is better than 2, but that's because of just different things that I'll get into when I do the Prime 3 Let's Play. Soonish. I don't know if I am going to do Prime 3 immediately after this one, because I really don't want to get burnt out of Metroid Prime, or just Metroid in general for Prime 4, because I know for a fact I'm going to be playing Prime 4 for myself. And I am currently working on the Metroid Prime review. I have been recording sessions of that. I haven't really been... I haven't written anything for it, but I am going to start that probably sometime this week. And then, you know, starting the process of recording my voiceover, hopefully soon. But, you know, I finished Metroid Prime pretty quickly. Like, I will be honest here, I've been actually sequence breaking throughout the, throughout the sessions, and that's honestly unintentional, because I do want to show that, I do want to mention that kind of stuff that, about Prime in particular. Alright, I'm fighting this the complete wrong way, by the way. I think I realize that now. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to wait for it to spin like a fucking Beyblade, and then boost ball into it, and, you know, emphasis on into it, not just, you know, roll around like an utter dipshit. But the problem is, you know, the camera for the morph ball isn't the best out there, to be honest with you. You know, because the morph ball camera focuses on Samus and not enemies that are around. Yeah, because your charge beam's not going to do anything. You can just shoot him in the head and stuff like that, but you're better off just trying to blow up his thing. Yeah, so there you have to blow him up with, you have to hit him with the boost ball, and then hit the little thing with the, you have to hit his body with the morph ball bombs, and once you do, his head will start to float, and then you can start shooting that. I believe you want to shoot, so if it has a purple barrier, you want to use the light beam. Yeah, you want to use the light beam and not the dark beam. And if it doesn't have a barrier at all, you can just use the power beam. And by the way, you could just use the power beam on either. Yeah, that was terrible in every way possible, but I think, yeah. The Sanctuary Fortress, to me, I like its aesthetic, for one. Like, I love this place. For one, I love its theme. It's one of my favorite themes in this game. But for the other problem with the Sanctuary Fortress is, this is probably one of the most difficult area in the game. And that is obvious, because this is the final area, technically, before you start going to, like, the Emperor Ing. Man, I am pressing the wrong button, like, 50 times, and I don't like that fact. But this is the point in Prime 2 that I really fucking hate. I hate this section of Prime 2 because they are a little stingy on checkpoints in the Sanctuary Fortress. Gonna be honest here. Want to know how I know that? Because, spoiler alert, I died to the Spider Guardian later. And not this part, next part. I died to the Spider Guardian. And as a result, you are pushed back to whatever save room you're in. That's, you know, basic Metroid Prime 101 there. But the other issue with that is, you know, save rooms are pretty fucking rare in the Sanctuary Fortress. So the second you realize that you lost a bunch of progress, you might lose your shit. And I don't think Prime 2 added, Prime 2 Trilogy Edition, or, you know, the Wii version, added any save rooms to the Sanctuary Fortress. And I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't, in all honesty. You know, I don't see them doing that in any version of, any updated version of Prime 2. Though I do feel like they added more. This might be a Mandela effect thing, but I feel like there were more save rooms in the Wii version and in the remaster of Prime 1. But I might be going crazy, because like I'm replaying. You know, I'm playing through Prime 1 for my for the review, and I'm going through and I'm thinking to myself, I feel like there were more save rooms. But I might be also just, you know, thinking of something. I just might be having a Mandela effect sort of thing going on. You know, because in Prime 1 especially, save rooms to me, you know, Prime 1, you know, since I speed through that game a lot, I don't go to the save rooms as often. Like, there are times where I just turn right the fuck around when I find a save room. That's stupid of me, but I do that a lot. But, okay, yeah, so for that, you need to remember the passcode, which is Amber, Cobalt, and whatever the other two were in that order. But it's not that hard. This isn't that hard. You know, and then they're the same colors as the codes you've been getting, so Amber was first. By the way, I don't think there's anything that happens if you get it wrong. I think it just says, it just buzzes at you and says try again. But, like, so, by the way, I do need to record more sessions of this fucking game. I just realized that. I need to finish this fucking game. I haven't done that yet. I think the last thing I remember doing, besides killing the Spider Guardian, I think was fighting Dark Samus for the third time, or second time, sorry. Yeah, but spoiler alert, you fight Dark Samus in this area again. Not now, but later. But I need to go back and... In all honesty, I'm on the verge of saying fuck it and not doing 100% anymore, but I don't know yet. You know, I am so drained from Prime 2, and it might just be because I don't like Prime 2 as much as the other Prime games. And it also could be because I'm doing the Prime 1 review at the same time. But, like, there's a part of me that just really wants to say fuck this and just not do 100%, but I don't know yet. Whatever happens, happens, in all honesty. I mean, because I still need the guide to know where the Sky Temple keys are, in all honesty, so... Because I never remember where they are. Because, again, I think I've only beaten Prime 2 a handful of times, while Prime 1 is like 14 times, like a million times at this point in my life. And I'm sorry to all you Prime 2 aficionados out there. It's just where the chips flay. Oh god, I gotta fight two of these fuckers at the same time. I'm gonna get my ass handed to me. The other thing about these guys is that they will fly to another body if possible. So if one of their body, if the body isn't destroyed, like if there's a body laying around in the area, they will fly towards it and you know, take it because they need it. You know, am I gonna just turn around and fight the other one too? I mean, I'm doing the right thing, focusing on one at a time, I guess, but I'm also being stupid and not realizing the other one's kicking my ass. Honestly, this is basically a tutorial for our boss fight of this area. But I'm trying to decide. But again, like, I haven't recorded a session of Prime 2 in a while, so I need to do that sometime. I probably will start that process back up in a couple days. I don't know yet, because since it's post-commentary, I can record that whenever the fuck I want. But I realize now that I'm running out of sessions, and I do not want another week of no Prime 2. And I really do want to finish this Let's Play by December, which, at this point, I'm convinced I will. I don't think, you know, I don't think this is going to take me forever. Plus, I just want to move on to another game. It's not going to be Metroid, the next game that happens after this one. It's not going to be Metroid, trust me on that one. Though it might be a Metroidvania. It might be, because I think I promised a friend, I don't remember if I ever promised this, I do remember someone asking me, I don't remember if I ever said I would do it, but I do remember that whenever I first did the Hollow Knight Let's Play, but I had to cancel it due to losing all the sessions, and I just genuinely didn't feel like re-recording all of that shit. That friend, I think, requested that once Silk Song either gets a release date or comes out, that I need to do the Hollow Knight Let's Play. I don't remember if I ever promised to do it, but I feel like I should do it anyway, mainly because, one, I do love Hollow Knight, but at the same time, I don't know if I'm going to do it now, considering I'm still playing Silk Song, but I don't know yet. But, I don't know, we'll figure all that out. You know, I have to ask, since most of the Sanctuary Fortress takes place inside, that does include, you know, the actual dark Sanctuary Fortress. Why is the atmosphere outside affecting me? I'm not inside right now. I know that for a fact. But, like, once we get in here, like, or at least, you know, pretty deep in the buildings with no openings, why is the atmosphere of Dark Aether affecting me? I'm just, I mean, it's probably a no shit sort of question, but it's like, it's Dark Aether, it's gonna kill you. I still hate Dark Aether. I mean, you know, you can't convince me to like Dark Aether. And not because it's dark or anything like that. No, I just genuinely don't like, you know, for one, I don't like having to worry about my fucking health, you know, draining constantly. Unless I'm in lava. You know, at least I'm not, you know, at least this isn't Metroid Other M where, you know, Adam waits till, like, the very last fucking minute to say, Samus, turn on your various suit to protect yourself from heat damage. Like, I'll defend a lot of things with Other M. That one I won't. Like, I can't defend that. I can't defend that. Like, that was just straight up stupid to me. That's always been stupid to me. Like, I'll defend the Ridley scene. I'll defend, you know, the linearity. I will defend, I don't think I'll defend the voice. I might defend some of the voice acting. I'll defend Anthony. I'll defend Anthony in a fucking heartbeat. I love Anthony. I'll defend the OST. I love it, Other M's OST. But like, you can't convince me to, you know, defend, you know, Adams's authorization system. I straight up think it's stupid. Yeah. You know, some of it I did find practical. You know, I understood, you know, disabling the wave beam for a little bit, you know, because, you know, the wave beam can go through walls, and considering that, you know, we don't know that they didn't know that there were survivors on the ship, we don't want Samus unintentionally shooting somebody because of the wave beam. We didn't want that, which, you know, I can totally get past. Same thing with the power bombs. But like, why disable stuff that protects her, like the Various suit, like the gravity function in her suit? You accidentally locked on the enemy, dipshit. But like, why disable stuff that protects Samus but doesn't harm anything at all, like the Various suit, the gravity suit, the space jump? No, yeah, no, the space jump's stupid. Screw attack, maybe. I can probably come up with a justification for that one. But like, the Various suit, that's still straight up stupid. But like, and the plasma beam. Yeah, Ice Beam, same thing. I guess you can... Ice Beam, no, not really. But, like, the Wave Beam's the only beam that I understand not authorizing immediately because it can go through walls. Power Bomb's the same thing, you know, you can just you know, a fucking nuke, you know. But Speed Booster... I don't know if I can I don't know if I can come up with a good justification for that one either. I mean... Yeah, I'll save it for Other M in 2 years. But that's going to do it for this part of Metroid Prime 2. The next time we meet in Metroid Prime 2, we're just going to continue on through the Sanctuary Fortress. So see you guys next time, and take care.